A charm. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's POB Tech Talk. My name is Rachel Schreiman, and I am one of POB's Seeing Hope Low Vision Resource Navigators. So for today's program, smartphones and tablets offer an incredible array of built-in accessibility features and third-party apps designed specifically for blind and low vision users. In previous Tech Talks, we highlighted several of these tools. If you missed those sessions, recordings are available on the POB website and on our YouTube channel. Additionally, you are always welcome to visit one of our resource centers to learn more. Today's talk takes things a step forward. We will focus specifically on how artificial intelligence, AI, is being integrated to enhance the capabilities of many of these apps. Now, I know AI can feel like a daunting concept, and many of the concerns surrounding it are absolutely valid. However, the purpose of today's talk is to introduce some of the assistive opportunities that AI provides for those of us with visual impairments. I like to call it AI for good. Ultimately, deciding how comfortable you are in using AI is a deeply personal choice. No matter what, we always encourage you to safeguard your personal information, whether you are interacting with AI or working with a human assistant. It is also important to acknowledge that AI makes mistakes. In fact, the term AI hallucination has quickly become part of our everyday vocabulary. Because of this, whenever you use AI, it is crucial to trust but verify. If something doesn't seem right, don't hesitate to question your AI tool. In fact, you get a lot better results when you do so, and that's how the tools learn. So, while it would certainly make for a very engaging debate, we won't have time today to dive into the broader philosophy and safety merits of AI as a whole. AI is already available and highly useful across a wide variety of mainstream tools and devices. Some examples are ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, Amazon Alexa, and Meta AI, to name just a few. In fact, the much hyped smart glasses that are greatly benefiting visual impaired users are using AI. But today, our focus will be strictly on how AI is being utilized in applications designed specifically for the needs of visually impaired users. Our discussion will focus on 5 specific apps that I find particularly useful. During our Q&A session, I welcome suggestions from all of you as well. I will briefly describe each app and then explain how it utilizes AI and share a few of the many real-world examples of how that use can benefit us in our daily tasks and make things much easier. I will offer a short live demonstration of a few of these apps. Following that, I will open the floor to your questions. Time permitting and based on your interest, I would also be happy to run additional live demonstrations of whichever apps you are most excited to see. So let's get started. The first app is Seeing AI. It is a free app available on both Apple and Android devices. And this is a Microsoft app that uses your device's camera to read text aloud and describe things like people, objects, barcodes, currency, colors, scenery, and even tell you whether lights are on and off. It also includes an AI-driven text analysis, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So the advanced AI analysis is available within the document reader and the barcode scanner features. That's the only place that I'm aware of that it's currently available. It uses the document reader to, here are some examples I was going to give you of some real world experience uses. You could use the document reader to take a picture of a letter or a document and have it summarized or pull out key details. It will already read it from top to bottom, but this is a way to much more quickly glean information from that document or letter. You could use the document reader to take a picture of a restaurant menu and then ask specific questions such as what chicken dishes are offered. You could also use the document reader to take a picture of an item in your kitchen and then have the cooking instructions read to you. Or get other information off of that box, like or label, such as, any nutritional information, for example. And my last example, which I'm going to demonstrate for you, is you can scan a barcode on a product and it will tell you it automatically tell you what it is. But then if the manufacturer has provided more information and you select that option, you can then ask detailed questions of it to get to exactly what you're looking for. So that little noise you heard a moment ago was my Bluetooth speaker turning off. So I'm going to turn it back on in a hopes that you'll hear my phone better. Tara, let me know if the sound isn't good because this was my way of making sure everybody could hear. So I have to turn it back on. Okay. So, but just holler. If it's not working, I'll shut it off and we'll just use my phone speaker. But I was trying to make it louder if possible. All right. So I am now opening Seeing AI. And it's opening. You're going to hear some noises. It's going to, it starts with trying to read. So I've gone to the product. So it's the barcode scanner. Now the barcode scanner will help me find the barcode as well. We've demoed that before. I'm going to go quickly. So I'm going to I know where the barcode is. So here we go.
Pure East Long Grain and Wild Rice Mix Original.
Did you guys hear that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so that's told me what it was, which is super helpful in a store or even pulling things out of your own pantry if you're having trouble reading things. So now I'm hitting the more button, the more info button. And when I do that, I'm just going to, for those of you who have enough vision to see it, I'm going to show you what it's given me on the screen. And in the font that I have programmed for myself, it's giving me all kinds of information, like a lot. And so I could have it just read all that to me, but I don't want to listen to all that. So now there's a question mark in the lower corner. Now I am going to be very honest with all of you. The buttons that you have to push on Seeing AI are quite small. So if you're using your phone visually, you kind of just have to learn where they are. If you are a screen reader user using VoiceOver or TalkBack, they're very easy to navigate. It's fully compliant. And I think it was probably designed assuming that people are using a screen reader, but it works. I can see it and I know where it is. So I'm pushing the question mark. And now I'm going to ask it a few questions. So I'm going to dictate. How many servings are in the box?
Sorry, I could not find that information in the document.
Good. Let's try something else. Murphy's Law, things that always work well, then as soon as you're going to demo, things decide to not work. What are the ingredients?
The ingredients are parboiled long grain rice, wild rice, salt, autolyzed yeast extract, parsley, onions, garlic, spices, turmeric spice which imparts color and natural flavor.
What are the cooking instructions?
The cooking instructions are as follows. Microwave directions.
Now I'm going to stop it.
In around 2-quart.
What are the stovetop cooking instructions?
The stovetop cooking instructions are as follows. 1. In a medium saucepan, bring 1 3/4.
You get the idea. So you can just ask whatever it is you want to know. And if the manufacturer has provided that information on the barcode, then it will pull it out for you. Now, in my example, where it appears that the manufacturer did not include how many servings were per container, I could revert to the document reader, take a picture of the back of the box where I suspect that information is provided and do exactly the same thing. So it would scan the document, it would give me the entire document in a much easier to read format visually, conforming to my system settings. And I could then select the question mark and ask whatever question I want, like what are the how many servings, what are the calories, what are the cooking instructions, all the same things. Works the same way, but I wanted to show it to you on the barcode scanner today. So that is Seeing AI, what I wanted to show you. The next app I want to cover is Be My Eyes. This too is free and also available on both Apple and Android. And the app itself, general overview is it connects users with sighted volunteers or trusted contacts via video. It also offers live video assisted specialized customer support from partner companies and organizations. There are a bunch of them. Microsoft is an example, and I have personally used it with Microsoft on more than one occasion. The feature we will discuss today is an AI-powered Be My AI assistant, is what they call it. Now, this app does connect directly with both the Ray-Ban Meta and Giga Echo Vision smart glasses, but the Be My AI feature is currently only available using the smartphone or tablet camera. So the Be My AI feature allows users to start independently with an AI visual assistant for any task by snapping a picture of the app in the app. And if a satisfactory response is not received, there is a large, very easy to find button called Call a Volunteer. So you just tap that button. If the AI didn't work for you, you get a volunteer and you're good to go. So one nice feature of the Be My Eyes app that I will compare to the next version that we're going to talk about is that you can choose whether your responses are automatically read aloud or provided in text only format. And the text does conform to your system settings. So for those of you with low vision, if you're able to read your phone with your current settings, you'll be able to read the responses visually. And it also works very well with both VoiceOver and TalkBack screen readers. And even if you've got it set to read automatically like I do, I can still see the response visually as well. So it provides a lot of flexibility for how you use it. So here are some examples of how you might use it. You could read a document, a sign, a product packaging, a label, or a menu with the Be My AI. And it typically defaults to a short description first, and then it will read you all the text. I will say that in the most recent update, I have noticed that it's gotten a little smarter. So sometimes it figures you want it read to you, so it just starts reading it. But more often than not, it gives you a description first. But then you can ask follow-up questions, and those can be either dictated or typed, similar to Seeing AI. And so another option is you could use it to get a description of your environment, and things like that. So I'm going to demo it very quickly I'm going to demo using the most recent version of the POB Seeing Hope Today newsletter. So let me open. I did not pre-open these apps because they would just start talking to us, but I'm opening the app and I am going to take a picture. Let's just do let's do the article. Let's do this article. There's so many different things we can do. We're gonna do the article that our friend Tara wrote. So I am gonna lift up the camera. I'm going to take a picture.
Seeing Hope with Vision Loss. Life's Tiny Victories. Life's Tiny Victories. By Tara Aziz. By Tara Aziz.
Uh-oh.
By Tara Aziz.
Darn
By
it.
Tara
Let's
Aziz.
stop. Okay.
The world around us
So this was happening recently somewhere else. It was working beautifully for me this morning, but it's deciding to repeat itself. Let's try a different article just so you can kind of see. I'm going to take a picture.
Magazine page on a laptop keyboard. Here is the text on the page. Here is the text on the page. Transcribed verbatim. Transcribed verbatim.
All right.
Transcribed verbatim.
We aren't gonna.
Transcribed.
All right. We're not going to do that. This is what I talked about Murphy's Law. I used it this morning and everything worked perfectly. But it basically is going to be very similar to what happened in Seeing AI. The difference is it gives you a summary first, and it starts to talk automatically. So you don't have to find the play button like you do in Seeing AI, and you don't, and you can go past Seeing AI's wanting to read you everything in its sites before you get it to the document reader. And then you can ask follow-up questions. Maybe we'll try it again a little bit later to show you how it works. But it's basically the same concept. I apologize that it decided to have issues just as we were trying to demo. All right. The next one I want to talk about is Aira Explorer. And this too, the app itself is free, but Aira is a paid subscription service where you pay for minutes. So to use some of its features, not the AI feature, but some of its other features, you will need to potentially pay for minutes. But its general description is that it connects users to trained and vetted agents. So that's in comparison to the volunteers that you're getting in Be My Eyes. So for some tasks that may be desirable for you. And so those trained and vetted employees give you visual assistance. The first 5 minutes each day are free, and there's free access available at many locations, including Target, Wegmans, Starbucks, and some banks and airports. So it's a nice way to try it for free if you want, if you're at a Target, for example. So the live agent assistance is compatible with the Meta Ray-Ban and Agiga Echo Vision smart glasses. But to my knowledge, the Access AI option that we're going to talk about does rely on the smartphone camera or tablet. So the Access AI option is free and allows users to interact independently, similar to the Be My AI option in Be My Eyes. So the use case examples are basically the same. I do want to make one note for those of you who are not screen reader users and do rely on audio feedback. So one potential downside is that it does not, to my knowledge, seem to read aloud without the use of a screen reader like VoiceOver or TalkBack. But it does conform again to your system settings. So if you're someone that has low vision that prefers to read visually anyway, as long as the font and contrast is to your liking, it will be fine on that count. But so as with Be My Eyes, if answers are not sufficient, users can connect for free to a live Aira agent. So that's a nice way, to get some free help from them. They also claim to have live agents monitoring the results to flag significant AI errors. I don't know how they do that effectively and efficiently, but that is a claim that they are making. So there's a little bit of safety in there. So the previous apps that I'm not going to demonstrate that one because, as I mentioned, it doesn't automatically read aloud. So for this Zoom, I don't think it'll be a very effective demo, but just know that it's very similar and it's available. So the previous apps I described have been around for quite some time and probably were not new to many of you, but they have they have recently integrated AI features, or they've integrated AI features to enhance their other capabilities. The last two apps I will describe are relatively new apps and are based entirely on AI. So the first one is called Orion, and that is spelled with two O's. So it's Oorion, and it is a free app. Currently, it is only available to Apple users. However, they have announced that an Android version is in development. So hopefully, you Android users will have access to it in the not too distant future. It is compatible with the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. And the way that works is once you've connected the app to your glasses, it will automatically use the glasses camera if your glasses are on and active when you open the Orion app. So you have to open the app, but then it'll use your glasses if they're on. This app uses either the camera on your iPhone or your Meta glasses to provide descriptions of your environment, read and locate text, or locate text, I should say, and locate items. It can read text in real time and uses both audio and haptic guidance. So haptic is when your phone buzzes, you get a feeling of buzz in your hand, to lead users toward whatever it is asked to find, or even to identify and avoid obstacles. You can look for general items that it has programmed already, like an elevator, a door, either an ascending or descending stairwell, a dog, a person. There's a whole bunch of items that they have already kind of programmed into the app. Or you can memorize your personal objects, things like your keys, your wallet, your glasses, anything you tend to lose a lot, you can program the app to recognize. So the options are really, truly endless. So a few examples that I'm going to throw out there of how you might use it. You could find a specific street sign when you're walking or an address that you're looking for. You could find a gate number at the airport. You could find your keys. You could read a sign as you approach it. So I've programmed a couple personal items, and I also just am in my office. So we'll look for a couple things, and hopefully it plays nicer than Be My Eyes did. It worked great earlier today when I was playing with it, but let's hope it works again. All right, so I'm opening the Orion app. Now I'm going to hold it up so you can see the homepage, some of you. You have options here. There is a menu where some of its pre-programmed items like asking visual questions, searching for an object, searching for text, searching for nearby objects, searching for nearby text, or looking for your personal objects. You can go straight to that feature within the app by just selecting the menu bar in the upper left-hand corner. There is a button smack in the middle you can touch where it automatically starts listening to you, or you can just talk to it. So we're going to try that way so you hear the whole experience. Orion, find a keyboard. So I'm going to look around my office.
You are facing a printer on a black table. I don't see a keyboard here. Try scanning to your left or right. There's a black and red electronic keyboard on a stand to your right, on the floor, against the wall. Object found. Object centered. Get closer. 6.1 feet. Refocus the object. Center the camera on the object by following audio signals. 4.4 feet. 3.3 feet. 2.4.
Right. You get the idea. It led me straight to that to my little piano keyboard in my office. Let's try looking for my keys or my glasses case, either one. I've got them hidden in my office, but let's try the keys. Orion, find my keys.
You are facing a laptop. I don't see any keys in front of you. Your keys are a small, light-colored bunch of metal and plastic. They are on the desk, to the right of the microphone and slightly behind the black speaker.
You get the idea. So that is the Orion app. I've tried it for things like identify obstacles because that was one of their examples. And I walked around my house and it did a really good job. It warned me when there was a chair in front of me. Now, of course, that is never a replacement for proper orientation and mobility skills. Oh, okay. It's still listening to me. I'm going to turn that off.
Your home safely and effective.
All right. So, it's not a replacement for your white cane by any means, but it did a really good job of that. And I used it outside to, find the name of my street and to find some of my neighbors' addresses, and it did beautifully. So that is the Orion app. The last app I want to tell you about is called Cookie Voice Recipes. It is also free. Well, it's free, but it also has a paid option, subscription option. It's unfortunately currently only available on Apple devices. I do not know if any Android capability is in the works or not. But what it is it's a voice controlled recipe assistant that allows users to import and then view a recipe in an easier to read format and audibly navigate that recipe hands free. It also conforms to your system settings. So if you're someone who still likes to see things visually, you can. The free version allows users to both search for recipes online through the app or upload recipes using a web URL. And I've done it and it works great. The premium paid version costs $3.99 a month or $29.99 a year. And it has enhanced features, including the ability to upload recipes from printed materials like a cookbook. It also includes some enhanced AI features such as ingredient substitution and enhanced voice commands. So for all the versions, those with low vision, as I mentioned, will be able to convert a recipe to a very easy to read layout with ingredients listed on a phone. They're listed at the top with very clear step-by-step instructions below it. On an iPad, they're side by side. But again, the same thing. They take what might be a very complicated, visually complicated recipe, either in a cookbook or on a website, and make it visually, for those of us who have the ability to still to do that, very simple to see. And then the audible navigation is really where the app is pretty amazing. The entire recipe is provided audibly using voice prompts. So, for example, you can say things like, "Cookie, what are the ingredients?" They're then told to you verbally, audibly in small groups with a prompt of next to hear the next small group. So it's an easy way to get your ingredients ready to go and assemble them. You can also ask specific questions at any time while you're cooking if you don't remember how much. Like, for example, you could say, "How much flour again?" when it's time to put the flour, in the recipe. And then you say things like, "What is the first step?" And it reads you the first step. Then you continue with that. "What is the next step?" And on until you are done cooking. As I already mentioned, at any point during your cooking, you can always ask very general questions or even specific questions like how much sugar. You can also ask things at any time, like how long does this recipe take to cook, what temperature, or even how many servings the recipe makes. So it also has some features in it. It has some tools like you can set timers, you can convert measurements. So let's say you're someone who likes to cook by weight using a scale instead of having, to use measuring cups. You could ask it to convert that to grams or whatever you want to do. So it does all of that. And recipes are saved in the app for later use. Now, unfortunately, I don't currently see the opportunity to like put them in folders and organize them. Maybe that's coming. I'm hoping that'll come in a future version. Now, I'm gonna, for the sake of time, because I want to give us time for Q&A, I'm gonna skip the demo of this one, but I have it on my phone. I've got, we can certainly demo it. I've got an example of a cookbook that's really hard to read that I uploaded a recipe from. So I can show you all that if anyone's interested. But at this point, I want to switch over and open it up for questions. So I don't know. I'm now back in the Zoom, Tamara.
Let's
Is
see. Can
anything
you?
in the chat, or does anyone?
No,
Okay.
nothing in the chat. But people, can you please unmute yourselves if you have any questions or comments?
Oh dear.
Hi, Rachel. It's Janice.
Janice.
I apologize. I had to drop off. You mentioned Orion and cookies, and what was the first one you talked about?
The first three I talked about
Oh, I
were,
missed three.
yeah, but Janice, I know they're ones you're already familiar with. I just really talked about the AI features in them. I did
Mhm,
Seeing AI, Be My
mhm,
Eyes,
mhm.
and Ira Explorer. So really, I just focused on how you can use that. All three of those apps have added AI capabilities that
Mhm,
allow
mhm.
you to interact with the picture that you've basically uploaded or the barcode that you've scanned in Seeing AI to allow you to ask very targeted questions or get a summary instead of having to listen to the whole thing.
Right, perfect. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Rachel, this is Tracy Hammond.
Tracy?
Hey, I had a quick question. I just kind of wondered, with your experience, do you think there's like one AI that's sort of better than another one? Like, for example, sometimes I have the Meta glasses,
Mhm.
and sometimes I ask the Meta AI a question, and I don't get a good answer. Or I
Correct.
I
I
get
would
no
agree with
answer
you.
or something, and then I might ask Siri something, and I get a better answer. So I just wondered what your thoughts were on.
And I know you and I already talked about this a little bit, but um I have had the same experience as you. And in fact, when it comes to the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, which I own and I love, one of the things I'm not 100% happy with is I feel like their AI is not at the same level as some of the others. And currently, I also feel Siri is in that same boat. However, Apple has announced that there are going to be some pretty significant AI enhancements coming in the next operating system. They've partnered with Google, so Gemini is going to be on board. So I think that is going to improve. I use ChatGPT and Google Gemini quite a bit, and I think they both do a really good job. I use them, you know, I don't know why I use one sometimes and one another. I have the ChatGPT app loaded on my phone, so if I'm on my phone and want information, I tend to go to ChatGPT. If I'm on a web browser, I kind of use both of them, and I use them a lot to edit and do all kinds of things. So I think my personal opinion, and again, this is just my personal opinion, is that the larger AI models are a little bit further along than the Meta one, for example. And that's one of the potential upsides of the Agiga Echo Vision glasses, for example, is that they claim, and again, they aren't really widely out yet, so we don't know whether this claim is going to come to fruition, but they claim that they are aggregating multiple open source AI models to get answers to things as opposed to relying on a proprietary one. So that may be a longer answer than you were looking for, but I do feel that they're not all equal. And when I mentioned that you can sometimes get a mistake, you can ask again, you can say, are you sure? Or can you check again? And if you still think you're getting kind of a wonky answer, switch to a different AI model. But like the example I'll give on my Meta AI glasses is, I have enough vision that I can see how many items are on a menu. I just can't read what they are. So I might ask that my Meta glasses to describe the salads on the menu, and I can see there are 8 of them. It might give me 4 or 6, and I'll go back and say, "Are you sure? I think there are 8 items." And it'll look again, and it'll say, "Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. My apologies." And it'll give me the right answer. So, you gotta kind of take it for what it's worth. But
Yeah, no, and I agree. And yeah, sometimes the second question will get you where you want. Sometimes it doesn't. And I guess I was curious too, like comparing, for example, like the Meta glasses with like the Seeing AI.
Mhm.
Do you think you get more accurate descriptions with Seeing AI versus the Meta glasses, or about the same, or do you notice a difference or anything?
I definitely think seeing AI is more accurate.
Okay,
And I'll tell you why, but it's not hands-free.
right.
So,
Yep.
you have to make choices about when you use what based on convenience. Seeing AI, and this is actually a good, it's a really good question actually, because we sometimes run into situations where we've got tools that were developed specifically for our needs. So they've been programmed to give, for example, more detail because it's making an assumption that the person it's helping is blind, right?
Right.
And then you've got tools that are mainstream tools that are for, everybody, that we have found useful for our needs. And so they're not necessarily programmed to meet our needs entirely. And so I think that's some of what comes into play. So seeing AI is taking a picture. If we're using the document reader in seeing AI, it's taking a picture of whatever we get into the camera lens, and it is converting every word of what we're taking a picture of into speech, and also into a different visual for those of us with low vision, utilizing our system settings. So now when you start asking it questions, it's got the exact information. So, it's not going to answer questions if it's not in the verbiage. Like, it's not, if it's not in the picture, it can't answer the question. But it's got all the exact information that it's pulling from. That also kind of works the other way when you're using an AI tool, because you sometimes have to be careful with some of these AI models because it'll try to help. So sometimes you've taken a picture of something, and if what you're asking it for isn't necessarily in the view of what you asked, or even sometimes if it is, it'll just go out on the internet and find you a different answer. Like we were playing with one in the office one day, and we were looking at a menu for a specific restaurant, and we asked it about, the menu items, and it took it upon itself to tell us a menu item that wasn't printed on the menu. Like, it had gone out to the website, or maybe was a seasonal special the restaurant once had and no longer has. So yeah, it
Yeah.
can hallucinate, and that's why they call it hallucinate. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
No, I appreciate that. So
okay.
thank you.
Luis,
Yes.
do you have a question for Rachel?
Yes, actually, first,
Yeah.
my friend Jill, who is helping me in every way, is here, and I think she wants to ask a question.
Okay.
Thank you. Um, uh, I think when we signed up for this presentation, we thought it might be a little more fundamental. This is a little more advanced than what I had envisioned. and you made a comment starting about there are others
Mhm.
online, and was wondering whether you could give me the name of them so that we could go back and look them up and maybe watch them.
Tara, do you want to, in a follow-up, provide links to them? Maybe-
Sure. I
Okay.
can send them to Louise as well, and we can do
That
that.
would be great.
Okay.
You could send
Yeah, because there've been a number of them. I did one, it might be a teeny bit outdated because it was, at least a year, maybe more ago, on on smartphone apps that are useful, that covered the functionality of those first three apps that I really just kind of breezed right through. And there have been some on some of the smart glasses, and things like that. The other thing I would very much recommend is, if you are able to come into a resource center, you can work with one of us on any of the apps that you feel would be most useful. You can come in as many times as you want. It's a lot to absorb in one setting. We also have some resource guides that list apps that provide very detailed instructions on a few, not all, on a few of the apps. So we have a lot of resources available to you. So just call the 301 number that Tara will list at the end. We can provide information and we can make you an appointment.
That's great.
Mhm.
That would be great.
I have my own question is, I like to read the newspaper, and that is my more frequently need. And so I am aware of the different options to read it, but I still not sufficiently skilled to use them. I have an additional challenge. I have an essential tremor. So when I hold the camera, say to take a picture of the article, because of my tremor,
Mhm.
never get a sharp picture.
So I have a couple suggestions for you. The first has nothing to do with using the smartphone camera app, which is there are options to receive your newspaper in an audible form, so that you don't even have to take pictures in order to convert the text. A couple, depending on your newspaper of choice, there is a local organization called the Metropolitan Washington Ear that has volunteers reading the Washington Post every day, and I think some other publications. The National Federation of the Blind has a service called NFB Newsline, and that has hundreds of publications from all over the country that are offered every single day, audibly. And all you have to do, you can use it on you can listen on the computer. There's a phone number you can call where you just do it through your telephone. They also have an app, but the app really kind of expects you to be a screen reader user, so it's not always as easy to use for those of us with low vision. So that is another way for you not even to have to take a picture of what you're trying to read. The other option
Line
is,
also has a phone number.
what's that?
Newsline also has a phone
Yeah,
number
that's
that
what
you
I was
can call.
talking about, is
Okay.
Newsline. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Newsline has a phone number that you call. You can favorite your favorite publications and you just listen. I used to, when my vision loss was brand new, I listened to the Washington Post every morning while I walked my dog. I just called in and I had programmed my favorite newspaper, and I could navigate, I could fast forward, I could pick sections, I could fast forward, I could go back, I could skip articles, and that's how I listened to the Washington Post for several years. So it's a really good service. The other thing I would suggest to you potentially is, with a tremor, if you were to utilize the one of the smart glasses like the Meta glasses, you could then utilize the camera in the glasses to, pull information off the page. I'm going to be honest, I have not tried it to read the newspaper. If anyone else has, I'd love for you to weigh in, because the only trick is going to be how good the AI is at being able to pull it article by article, because sometimes it's in columns and things, and you wouldn't want it to like start reading down the page and start skipping around articles. So if anyone has done that, I'd be interested to see. Now the Agiga Echo Vision glasses, which are not yet widely available, they are building in a special reading function that is intended to read books and things. So I'm assuming for newspapers it would work pretty well. But again, none of us have had an opportunity to try that yet. Anyone else have, Janice or anyone else have any other suggestions?
Those are excellent, Rachel. I think I have tried my Meta glasses with print that's in columns. It's kind of maybe sometimes it works, maybe sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
try.
me because, the Meta glasses weren't, the beauty of the Meta glasses is the price point, because they have such broad market appeal. So they're super popular with lots and lots of people. That keeps the price down for us. The downside is, as I mentioned earlier, they weren't designed specifically for our unique needs. So some things they do better than others. To Meta's credit, they are working with the blindness community to build in things like direct links to Be My Eyes and more enhanced descriptions and things like that. So they certainly are working to make our lives better, but that's not their primary purpose. So it's hit or miss sometimes. Yep.
Rachel, I have a question. Is Orion the only one that uses the haptics among the ones you mentioned?
I think so. Yeah. And the haptics are really helpful because it's helping you with location too. So it's a little bit different. It's the only one I talked about that was really I don't want to call it a navigation tool, but it's a locator, So its primary purpose, and it has a side benefit of reading text that it sees. So it's really good also for, getting information about signs, or maybe a short, a menu, or even like a tag or something. But its primary purpose is to help you locate things. So that's where the haptics come in.
Okay.
Rachel, I had a quick question about those haptics. Is it similar to a sonar type thing, like it buzzes harder when you're warm and slower
and
when you're cold?
Yeah, and I should have mentioned that, because when I was walking toward my keyboard, the buzzing of the phone in my hand was getting stronger as I got closer. And it doesn't buzz at all until it has found it. So like as I was scanning around my room or scanning for my keys, there was almost a little bit of a delay when it talked to say it had found it and described. But as soon as it identified it, my phone started to vibrate.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Rachel?
Does anyone else have apps that are using AI that they really love, or just general apps that they really love that I didn't mention? Because honestly, the apps I mentioned were just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of great stuff out there.
Janet, did you have a question? You unmuted yourself first.
Yes, I did. I did have a question. Hi, this is Janet. On the recipe app, is it obvious how to get it from the web? Whenever you look at recipes you find on the websites, they're so confusing.
Yeah.
Is it obvious how to get it onto that app?
What you do is when you open the app, and I'll open it. So if I don't know how much vision you have, but at least, for those who can see it, they'll be able to see what it looks like. And I can even show. So I've opened the app and when you open the app, there's a couple options. One is you can, so like I said, search directly in the app. So if you're looking to make something, like you would go and do a Google search, you would do it the same thing here. You would, they give you some examples of things you might want to search for, but you just, you hit search and you can dictate or type what it is you're looking for, and it'll go out to the web for you and find some options. That's not my preference of how to do it because I like to look at ratings, and all of that. But you can do it that way. And when you do it that way, it gives you a list of recipes. You pick one, and then there's a button that says cookie it, and you click cookie it, and it puts it into its format. The alternative is if you are doing an internet search on your own and you've looked for something, and like me, you then like look at the reviews, and you pick a 5-star reviewed recipe, and then you pick that one. Then you just copy and paste the URL into the app. So, I would open the way I do it is I open the recipe, and then I copy, I go up to the search bar, where you've got the top of your browser,
Right,
and I
right.
just highlight, copy it, and then I paste it into the cookie app. So that's the same thing. So if I push Let's Cook on my app, oh gosh, my phone just froze. What just happened? Okay. Oops. All right, I'm going to close it and open it. Why does this only happen when you're trying to demonstrate something? All right, so I've opened Cookie and I'm going to hit Let's Cook. And so there's I have a bar at the top that says search or copy a URL or paste a URL. So that's where I would paste a
I see.
URL.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then you cookie it, and then you get the recipe open up. And like, for example, here are some recipes I did upgrade my subscription, partly because I knew I was doing this presentation, and I got to tell you, I like it so much that I'm going to keep the subscription. But here's an example of a soup recipe that I pulled from the New York Times. It's butternut squash soup. And I cookied it. And this is one where I took the URL and brought it in. I've got all my ingredients at the top, and then I've got my steps very clearly defined on the bottom. So I'm not having to navigate around all the pictures and the pop-ups
No
and
kidding. That's
the
so perfect.
yeah, and the different color fonts and the
Right.
whatever. So it makes it super easy. Likewise, I've got one that I have show you the cookbook for anyone who has vision. I've got this. I had to make cookies for something recently, and I have an old recipe from a great aunt of mine. They're really good molasses cookies. Now, this was a family cookbook. I don't know if any of you can see it, but if they had tried to pick a worse color option in terms of contrast, they could not have succeeded. And so these recipes are low contrast, small print. They're just not great. So in the past, when I've used this cookbook, I've used a video magnifier to utilize, to use the recipes. So I pulled in Aunt Helene's molasses cookies, and once again, I've got my ingredients super clear at the top and the steps below. And if anyone's interested, it's even easier. Honestly, I use it on my iPad more because I do like to work visually as well. I like to have a combination of visual and audio. So let me open it on my iPad.
What's the full name of the app again?
Cookie Voice Recipes.
Okay.
And they have what looks like a chocolate chip cookie on the top. I don't want to do that. Okay. So if I go to my recipes, here's Aunt Helene's sugar cookies. For those of you who are visual, you can see it's bigger because it's on my iPad, and I've got the ingredients on the left and I've got the steps on the right. So like I mentioned earlier, as I'm going through the steps, if I've forgotten how much of an ingredient I need, I can just ask it. Oh, okay.
What's your
all right.
question about the recipe or your cooking process?
Cookie stop. All right, let me close her so she doesn't keep talking to us. But I can, because I do have enough vision that when the font is to my liking, I can work visually. I have a choice now of asking questions of the app, or I've got the ingredients on one side, the steps on the other, and I can visually get what I need without having to scroll up and down. So I really, really like this app personally. And it does a remarkably good job. The only time it has failed me was please don't think I make cookies all the time, but the first time I tried it was to make cookies. And the cookie recipe used both white and brown sugar. And I couldn't get it to tell me how much sugar, like when I went back and said, how much white sugar, it said you need a half a cup of white sugar. And then I said, how much brown sugar? It said you need a half a cup of white sugar. So it was having a hard time differentiating between the two different sugar, because there were two sugars in the ingredient list. That seemed to stump it a little bit, but that's the only mishap I've had with it. So I really do like it.
Okay, thanks so much.
Mhm.
Rachel, we're running out of time. Do you want to
Always.
say the final word?
No, I think that's it. I hope that was helpful. I know that we jumped all the way to some more advanced features, which was kind of the topic of the meeting. So for those of you who were not already familiar with some of those early apps, I do encourage you to check them out. I do encourage you to reach out to us. We can help you with all of those apps from the beginning and very basic level. So I thank you for being here. And
Sorry, Rachel, we have Farah. Farah,
Go ahead.
you're unmuted? Do you have a question or
Yes.
comment?
I just wanted to thank you both for having this fun meeting, and at the same time to see if we can have Rachel's sugar cookie recipe.
You mean the molasses cookie recipe?
Yes.
Happy to share it. For
Thank
those
you.
of you worth if the presentation wasn't to your liking, at least the cost of admission will get you a cookie recipe. How's that?
Actually, Rachel, we need to test it as well. So
Thank you.
All right. So
Rachel,
who's going to make them?
Rachel,
yeah.
Rachel, one other recipe is it's Recipe Keeper.
Okay.
And that's very similar to the one that you have. And check it out.
Does it provide voice responses and everything too?
I'm not sure whether I haven't used the voice response, but it
I'll
copies
check it out.
copies everything very nicely, and you can see it, and it's categories too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for the input. And that's also a great option. Thank you. I'm going to check it out myself. And for those of you out there who are Android users that actually like to cook, that would be a nice one to check out yourself, because maybe that can get you some of the same functionality.
We're running out of time. Thank you for joining us. And Rachel,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Of course.
This is being recorded. We will send it out on Thursday with our town hall. And thank you all for joining us. And you all take care.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.